Welcome back, everyone, to the spooky month. I don't have a good opening. It's your boy, Low Quality Content. I know I'm late with this month's tier list. I wanted to get it out this weekend, but that just didn't happen. And because of that, one of the new pairs is already available, but we'll talk about it. I don't think it was a big miss if you missed out on them, but whatever, we'll get there. So October, we had the Melancholy Wally event, we had the Halloween event, which is the big thing going on right now, and we had that little mini gala event. We'll talk about those more in detail when we get there. But if you are new, starting with some ground rules, I'm doing this from the perspective of a casual new player, and I prioritize free units over premium units. Those that are listed are there. The tiers are ordered. The first three tiers are ordered from left to right. So the blue, undisputed best, the very goods, and the decent third options are also all left to right. And I will not talk about the Trainer Lodge pairs unless I get enough questions about it, because the Trainer Lodge is basically a dating sim, and you should go after whichever pairs you find the most fun. But on to the types. Bug type has no real change from last month. Still, your best option to go for is Lucamine. Dark has no real change from last month. Caitlyn is out now, by the way, as is Hilbert in the previous Halloween grab bag. Bear Scout, I believe it has Morty Bane, Mimikyu Acerola, Caitlyn Sableye, and Hilbert Mightyena. I think Sableye Caitlyn is a really good support unit. Really helps out really anybody. Hilbert, if you don't have any of these free options, sure, Hilbert's fine, but I do find him to be a little underwhelming when compared to even somebody like Karen Houndoom, who I really think is the closest to Hilbert in terms of strength. But Dragon type, no real change. No new units, any of that jazz. Electric, got a big update last month. This month, nothing new. So, and we go on to the first one with a new pair, and that is Melancholy Wally or Signasuit Wally. I have him very good, mostly because he's not bad, right? He has the fairy unit, or the fairy wish, which is really good, obviously. Any of the units that can set up zones or terrains tend to be pretty good. He has that amazing Dazzling Gleam buddy move. I think he's more of a great accoutrement for someone like a Marnie or someone like a Sycamore than he is kind of running the show on his own. But, you know, if you disagree, feel free to run it yourself. But I do, even with all my knocks against him, he's still very good. I think he's much better than Palantine, Serena, or Base Lily in terms of what they can do and bring to the table for a fairy team. I did move Berg to replace ASAP. His whole kit is based off of RNG, and I'd just rather not. Onto the fighting type, the only real difference is I moved Diantha from decent third option to very good. One of my commenters talked about it with me, and, you know, I can agree that she is, while I do think she is probably, strength-wise, she's probably on par with these guys. The big issue is these two can work a lot better with Maylene and Lucario than I think Diantha can, and Diantha is also extremely rare. She's only been around twice. So I would not personally recommend her. I would much rather recommend Bay or even Wally as your main damage dealer, but if you have her, she's still very good, and I think better than just a decent third option. And I believe I believe I knocked Festival Hilda down. Don't use her ever. I know she's a premium pair, but yeah. Fire had no change from last month. Flying also had no change from last month. I'll go back real quick just to let everybody get a glimpse of the fire type, but for more detail, please check out last month's video. Same thing with the flying type, no real change. Ghost, we had one new unit in this Alistair and Pumpkaboo, and then also Morty Bayonet, who I don't have. I don't know if I really want to bump him up, because it's like I've seen his kit, and his kit reminds me a lot of like both of the two of the Serenas, the Palatine Serena and Base Serena with Delphox and Whimsicott. Whimsicott has Go Viral 9 Paralysis. Delphox has Go Viral 9 Sleep. Morty Bayonet has Go Viral 9 Burn, which, okay, like, he could be really good, or he could be underwhelming. That's kind of the whole problem with ghost types, is a lot of these are underwhelming, you know? Like, I moved Alistair up to very good, because I do think he is probably the best free damage dealer. But if I'm ranking all these damage dealers, which you have, obviously, number 1, 2 is probably Cynthia, because she can really get herself going with her Ghost Zone. 3 is probably Corinna. 4, like, Alistair is very clearly the worst of the 4, and I would probably tech in Phoebe Duskull before Corinna, you know, but she's not really a damage dealer, she's a support. But, you know, like, Alistair is, like, the gap between Corinna and Alistair, in my opinion, is not insignificant. But I digress. Moving on to this free Alistair. Halloween Alistair has the same problem as Tea Time Lily, which also has the same problem, as I mentioned, as Easter Bird, and that is RNG. A lot of his support comes from his random trainer move, which I don't find to be reliable. He does have the Ghost rebuff, which is a new debuff on the opposing side of play, which lowers their resistances to Ghost type by 1, which, okay, fine, you get 2 uses of it, so you can lower resistances by 2. Really good for the Ghost type. The only problem is, who's taking advantage of it? You know? Like, if you don't have this very premium unit that has never been around, same thing with this Cynthia, you know, same thing so far with this Corinna, which Signa suits for free characters should not be premium, but I digress. Same issue I have with, like, Melancholy Wally, who's, again, Signa suit Wally, Signa suit Corinna. Like, who's really taking advantage of it well? And the answer is not many, you know? So, I think he's a decent third option. I would still rather have Phoebe as the support for a Ghost type team, and Phoebe is one of the better supports in the game, period. So, that's my take on that. Moving on to the grass type, the only addition is Victor, which we'll talk about real quick. I think he's fine. You know, he is the second premium striker type after Shiny Serena and Sonia. I think he's better than Sonia, Tea Time Sonia down here. But that being said, I don't know if he's better than Brendan. Looking at his kit, his big thing is getting off that one big hit on his max move, which is not a bad strategy. My concern is for things like Legendary Battle, which tends to be somewhat of the higher end content. he might shine in Battle Villa, to be honest with you, but you know, who knows. And for some of the bigger battles that go like 9 trainers deep or more, you know, the fact that he gets off that one big move and calls it a day is kind of not great. You know, he did get a little bit better with his grid. He does get a BOGO on high horsepower, but I'd rather it would have been BOGO on his drum beating, but he's fine. Like, I think he's much better than these options down here. If I were to rank some of these damage dealing options, I do think Brendan is probably still the best damage dealer in the grass type. I would say Victor is a solid 3. I would put Erica above Victor. I would say it's something like that for damage dealers in the typing. So it's like Victor's not bad. He does have a leg up over Erica being a striker, which means the sync move hits all pairs, but I do think Erica has much better raw damage output, especially on a single target, and it's doubly so when Sun is out. So I digress. The only other thing I want to mention for this type is, man, Signasuit Lyra is probably the single best disruptor in the entire game. Man, which event was it? It was the 2022 Halloween event, the one with Iris and Alistair, which I'll talk about Iris later. But you go up against Lusamine, who sets up Fairy Terrain, and how they want you to do it, or not Fairy Terrain, Fairy Wish, and how they want you to do it is to use Poison Wish off of Iris. Well, I made a brain fart and thought Lyra set up Grass Wish, but no, it was Grassy Terrain, so those stack. But still, I was going from struggling to beat that battle, like I was either losing or getting by with 1. I used Lyra with pretty much the same team, and I didn't even lose a single pair. So when she comes back around, because I'm sure they'll repeat the Johto villain event, hopefully, but when she comes back around, definitely pick her up. And that's all I gotta say about that. Ground type, no real change. Ice type, also no real change. Oh wait, no, sorry, incorrect. Ice type, we got Melanie. She is a free unit, so even though her Spotlight Scout is no longer available, if you check the Halloween pair grab bag, the one with the previous 4 Halloween units, you can actually get her and Gordon. So that's why she's free, and that's why I wasn't too pressed about getting this video out. I did want to make sure I got all of the units, but Melanie is obvious. I obviously have her very good. I do think she's a much better support than Glacia, who next month I may knock down even more. I know she's getting her 6-star. Either she already has it or she's getting it soon at the next Pokemon Masters Day, which is tomorrow as I'm recording this. I'm recording this on the 24th. But she sets up Safeguard. She sets up protection against physical and special type moves. She has Sing. Again, I do think she is a better support than Glacia, and what would have made her perfect is if she had some sort of hail setup. I would have made her the perfect ice type support, but even without that, she's still great free option. If you get her, there's not many teams that would not welcome having. I believe she also does status condition nullification too with Safeguard. There's not a team that would not love to have reduction from physical and special attack damage and not being afflicted with status condition. So love her, great. As I mentioned in my last video, the tier list on who you should rank up first, I do think Getsis here is the next legendary to get his boost. If you look, spoiler alerts for the villain events if you haven't done it, They feature Colress quite a bit, so I do think that the next villain, like in Paulo's interludes, so because Colress is featured quite a bit, it's a clue or it's a hunch that I think they're going to do Team Plasma and Getsus next, but I could be wrong. I would personally love to see player character and Solgaleo get a boost next because they desperately need it, but I digress. Moving on to the normal types, no real changes. Poison type, we introduce Iris right here, and I do think she's very good. She sets up the Poison Zone, Poison Wish. The problem with her is she feels like Poison Alder or Poison Lance, where the big thing with them is they boost their own crit and some other stats. There's usually an accuracy boost there, but it's Hyper Beam. It's just Hyper Beam. And like we can go back and look at the Dragon and the Bug, but I don't have Lance and Alder rated very highly. But the problem is because Poison is so depleted, like she may straight up be the second best damage dealer or the best damage dealer for the Poison type. Because I've made it no secret that I don't care for Plumeria. I think Looker could be a lot better than what he is, and I don't know if he's better than Plum, maybe only slightly worse. But the thing about the Poison type is they lack that clear-cut good unit that a lot of types have. Like you look at the Fairy type, even the normal type, Ice type, they all have one or two units that are clear-cut good. Poison, I don't think, has that. And that sucks. You know? Like, I will admit Poison is not exactly my favorite type, but man, I feel a lot of pity for this type from how they're done in the mainline games and even this game, so. But that's really it for the Poison type. I would recommend getting her, especially if, you know, she's got the zone and Poison types really need that attack type buff, or the attack damage buff, so definitely recommend getting her. It's just, you know, my issues with her stem from how the Poison type has been treated. But onto the Psychic type, no real change. Yeah. Rock type, only change. Gordy. Great Fire type, bad Rock type, basically. That's how I would describe him. The thing about Gordy is for the Rock type, he doesn't do much. He sets up Rock Zone, which is the worst part of Bertha's kit. Or not Rock Zone. Rock Damage Zone on the opposing side of play. Because Bertha has Stealth Rock, and essentially that's what Gordy gets on his G-Max move. Which, that's not good, especially when your alternative is, like, Max Guard isn't great, but it's better than Rock Damage Zone, and it's a whole lot worse than setting up Sun, which, again, there are better options to set up Sun, but Gordy's whole gimmick is Tar Shot leading to fire damage rebuff on the opponent, meaning they take more damage from fire types. Which is why Gordy is a much better fire type unit than a rock type unit, because he doesn't do anything for the rock types. I believe his rock type move is like Rock Slide or something. So, I don't have it out in front of me, but, you know, it's not super important. It's not his rock dealing damage move is not that good. And again, the main gimmick is setting up Tar Shot. So, decent third option, but not for the rock type. A decent third option for the fire type, but it is as high as he'll go. I do think the other problem with Gordy is I do think he's a lot better than the units beneath him. I do think he's better than, for sure, Tyranitar, for sure, Regirock, Onyx, Amora, you know, all those. It's like definitely better than those units. So I don't think he's as good as the top 5. I think he's better than the bottom 5 that I have ranked. Obviously, I don't have Emmett ranked. And we did get a new Trainer Lodge pair in Rhyhane and Gigalith. If you like Rhyhane, go get him. If you don't care for Rhyhane, go after who you like first. Steel type, no real difference, no real change. It is what it is. And the last type, the water type, again, no real difference, no real change. You know, I'm assuming for November we'll get, if I had to guess, I would assume we're going to get another water type because we get a lot of water types. But, you know, we'll see. I'm sure those leaks are going to come out soon, and I can't wait. But that's it for this video. I didn't want to make this go too long since there was only 5 real types getting talked about. I'll actually... Okay, kept my annotations. Yeah. You know, I didn't want to go on too long. Only 5 real types that I was really talking about. Grass, Ice, Poison, Ghost. Oh, I missed one for Ghost. I forgot about her. The free unit of the event. You know, you get her for free, much like you got the Sightseer for free. They're just adding free NPCs as playable characters. She's not good. Get her for free, max her out because it's free, and move on. But I'll just leave it here for now. Yeah, sorry the video's late. Just a lot of stuff came up this weekend, and you know, it is what it is. In terms of what I want to do with this channel, because I do want to talk about that real quick, I don't do this for the goal of making money off of it. You know, that would be a very nice side effect for me personally, but I have a job that pays pretty well, you know, and I'm very happy I have that, so I'm glad I can kind of do this as more of a passion project and help out players of this game who may not know what they're doing. And a lot of the content I see from Pokemon Masters is focused more on whales, where it's like, look at this premium pair, look at what they can do, which is great, but in 2 months' time, when that pair is gone and, you know, a new player joins the game, it's like they can't get like Anniversary Lily, you know, like they can't get her, they can't get her. So it's like, what are you supposed to do when you can't get all the pairs that are ranked very highly? And I know that I have those 3 ranked very highly, but I don't feel like enough people kind of help out the little guy, you know. And that was definitely something I noticed with another mobile game I played, Future Fight. But, you know, I really do this to kind of help out the community. I don't really do this for myself, you know. The one person I hope watches these videos is my fiance, you know, because, you know, she takes long breaks from the game, and I hope that this kind of stuff can help her. It's like, hey, this is what you need to do, you know. But like I said, this is kind of a passion project for me, and another passion project I would like to do is just going through the games that I own and having a record of me playing them all the way through, you know. They're not going to be current games, you know. I have like a couple of Assassin's Creed, I have some Backyard Sports, you know. I do have some recent games, like I have Bloons Tower 6, but, you know, I just want to go through my PC, go through my PS4 collection, you know, once I get Elgato, go through, you know, like PS3, 360, all that stuff, and just play some of these games. So I don't know when I'll do that, but yeah. If you guys have any questions, any content you would like to see for Pokemon Masters, or You know, this used to be a sports channel, so if there's any sports stuff y'all like to see, you know, leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is. Drive safe, everyone.